Today's guest is a true creative force in the salon industry, a master stylist, an educator, and a salon leader who's been sharing her purpose with the beauty industry and her passion for the last 30 years. Please welcome to Brazen Bold, the gorgeous Tammie Axworthy. Welcome, Tammie.
Oh, Heather, so awesome to be here with you today. Thank you so much for having me.
I feel like this is the best little trick and a little known secret is that I get to set up podcasts to record people that I adore and love. And what I really get to do is just hang out online with my friends. And Tammie is one of these beautiful people. I met her the first year I was on tour with Goldwell doing their creative experience, I think is what it was called that year. And I got to work alongside her and just immediately fell into deep, mad friendship with her, knowing she was such a kindred soul.
Didn't we?
It was so great. Yeah, I think we sat next to each other at dinner and I was like, she's cool. I like that girl. And I'm just so glad that we've been able to grow in our relationship and just get to know each other and support each other more. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast to share about your journey and really your story from being a shampoo girl all those years ago to now a salon owner and a national educator on the Goldwell team. Tell me a little bit about the background. How did you get there from here?
Well, it started when I was 18. I decided to take a year off high school. I thought I was going to go to school for interior design, and then it just became all overwhelming. I'm like, no, I'm going to take a year off. And I remember my mom's friend saying to me, well, we're looking for a shampoo girl in the salon for over Christmas. You know, you're chatty, you'll do.
You're fine, go in there.
Yeah, sure. And literally, oh my gosh, the first day, like no one told me how to do anything. First day I get there, they're like, here's the sink, here's the shampoo, scrub rub a dub, rinse. First client, hot guy. Yep, soaked him from head to toe, let go of the hose, soaked the room, soaked the ceiling, soaked the clock, soaked him. And of course, I know nothing about anything, so I'm trying to chase the hose instead of just shutting off the tap. Yeah, whole room gets soaked. I'm just mortified.
This sounds like a Seinfeld episode.
It really was. And then I grabbed some towels, dabbing at this really beautiful person. And then he's like, he leans in a little bit and goes, are you going to scrub me down too? Yeah, and then I'm like mortified even more so. So the sense of humor, we were dying laughing. And then after we cleaned up the whole mess, I was ready to leave. And they're like, no, it happens to everybody. Carry on as we do. And I think that's where you start developing the mentality of you just, learn as you go, fake it till you become it. I know what I'm doing, let's go. And you just start talking that talk to yourself. And then I decided within 2 weeks, I was absolutely in love with this industry. And then I decided to sign up for hair school.
I mean, it's fun because a few of the people I've interviewed, this is a similar story in cadence. They didn't intend to join the industry. They popped in to help, or they went to their aunts to deliver something or run an errand, and all of a sudden it was like, I like this place. So I want this to be more of a Hallmark movie than you and that man began dating. You had 5 children and a picket fence. No?
But he did come back 6 weeks later, and I'm like, I've gotten better. He's like, I brought my towels.
It all worked out, is what you're telling me. You were mortified day one. That sounds like an abysmal failure, and here you are. We share a similar philosophy. I really love how Tammie's mind works, and she's further developed in this path of surrendering and going with the flow, and exercising trust and seeing where the road takes her. Tell me about that journey and how one thing has led to another to just continue to see you develop in this beautiful industry.
Well, I was working in a salon. I think I've been about 6 years in at the time, maybe 7 years in. And my sales rep comes up to me one day and he says, Tammie, I love the way you talk to your clients. I think you'd make a great educator. And I'm like, educate what? What are you talking about? I'd never taken a class. My apprenticeship was very much do as I say and figure it out as you go, and get criticized for not doing things well, but never really mentored to do things well. So you just kind of figure it out as you go. And so I never really knew there was education, and I was new to the salon and I hadn't taken any classes. I didn't even know there was classes to take. And he's like, yeah, we think we teach you to teach everybody else how we do things at Goldwell. I'm like, are you serious? You're going to teach me to teach other people? You're going to give me this knowledge? And he's like, yeah. And then you'll share it. And I'm like, this sounds amazing. I don't know if I can do this. But wow, sure. So he signed me up for the training, and so I made it through the 5 days of training, and then I began educating. And then I started teaching programs from Goldwell to stylists and going into salons and regional programs. And then I started getting assisting other artist positions. And then I had to go and teach an updo program. So my education manager calls me one day. This is about halfway through my career. And she says, Tammie, we have a upstyling program we'd like you to teach. for the school. And I'm like, yeah. I hang up the phone. I bent over and just about heaved because I don't know how to do an updo.
Oh, I was about to ask if you were already known for that and that's why they positioned you there. You mean to tell me you didn't do them until this?
Nope.
Okay,
And then,
this is amazing. Pause. Anybody, I hope somebody's listening to this that was in that first class. She was an imposter, but now look at her because now you teach this program. You've developed a program. I love it. Keep going.
So she sends me the videos. She sends me the heads. There's 6 heads, 6 videos. I've got 3 months to learn it. And I get off the phone and I like bent over in a pure panic sweat. Am I going to call her back and tell her I don't know how to do that? Am I going to lose this opportunity? Or am I going to fight through the fear and figure this out? I got 3 months to figure this out. Okay, I'm going to figure it out. Then I decided every week for the next 3 months, I'm going to spend 3 hours learning those programs. I'm going to learn those updos. I'm going to bang them out and I'm going to rip them down. I'm going to do them again every weekend for 3 months. And then by the time I got to it, I was like, I don't even need to look at the videos. I don't even need to look at my notes. This is like, why didn't I learn this before? It's just like doing color and cutting. You start with a plan, you start with sectioning, you build the foundation, you work through it, and you put your own artistry into it, and that's what you do. And I never gave myself the opportunity because when you're learning how to do updos, you can't practice them in the salon. You have to practice them on time that you're not working on clients because you have to get that updo right. You have to get it perfect. You don't have time to just, I'm going to try it out. I just never gave myself the time. And Heather gave me the opportunity. And I'm like, I did it. And it wasn't until years later when I was on stage doing a hair show that I gave kudos and acknowledgement to Heather for giving me that opportunity. Because I was actually working a show and also judging a hair competition that was an updo competition. So I wanted everyone to know, like, just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean you can't master that. You just have to put the work in.
That's incredible. And I think it's really brave too. It's something that goes to show your courage. It's not that you started off with you are extremely talented. You've been recognized on a national and global stage, not just for your work, but then now all of the different events you're supporting and the ways that you're on stage sharing, but you're also judging, you're also winning awards. These are kind of huge accomplishments. And I think it would be very easy for someone in the field to just be like, well, that Tammie has it all together. But what you're telling me is that you really were a scared little nauseous person hunched over in your living room one day, but you said yes and you kept going, which is really brave. And I think that's the gap that a lot of people stop when they get to the edge of that and they see that they kind of go, yeah, I don't do updos. So then they kind of back into their comfort zone. And what you did is you leapt. It sounds like you just went full send. And then there you were years later judging a competition of the same nature something you didn't even know about when you were already up to your eyeballs in your career. That's pretty impressive.
Well, I think it's really important to share with stylists and to share with people that we aren't born good stylists. We grow to become good stylists. Mm-hmm. So everyone starts from somewhere, right? And I think I've also had to trust my education team at Goldwell. I've had to trust other friends in the industry. I've had to trust a lot of people to say, hey, Tam, I think you can do that. It's not always me putting up my hand going, I want to do that. Mm-hmm. It's like someone gives me opportunity and I'm just open to it. And I'm like, okay, what is there to learn from this? I just want to learn and grow and do all the things because I always want to just do all the things.
And you're so passionate and it's infectious and I think it's amazing and it very much shows. I want to know, after mentoring so many stylists and salons across the country and internationally, you've mentored a ton of people. What is something that you wish that stylists knew about growing their craft and their career?
I think you just got to always be open to the learning. Okay. If you ever develop a mentality where you think you know it all or you're not interested in that, you just got to be open to trying something new because nobody knows it all. Nobody has all the tricks. I think there's always room to grow. And as soon as you get good at something, I think it's turn around and say, okay, what else can I do? Mm-hmm. Don't just keep getting good at that one thing. Get well-rounded. Always be open to learning a new skill from a new person. Always just take the yes and don't be closed off to it. You have to be open to the learning and receive the learning and see what else you can do with it.
I like it. Beginner's mind.
Yes.
You're going to maintain a beginner's mind no matter what you do, which I think is incredible. Also, for those of you who are just listening in, Tammie, who used to have really lovely brown hair, now has incredible, vivid violet hair. It's beautiful. I'm loving seeing this new shade on you. It's so fun.
Thank you.
Something so new and so cute. It's gorgeous. Trying something new, pushing to the edge, pushing through the fear to say yes. That's really impactful. What got you started on stage? You began by educating in Salon, mm-hmm. and then you went to stage, and then more recently even, you began working at fashion weeks and doing other things like that behind the scenes of stage work and runway shows. What is that journey like? What is that experience like? And tell any of the artists listening what they might expect or what they could do if that was something that they aspired to.
So I didn't even know, again, did not even know I wanted to do Fashion Week. I was teaching a Master Colors program for Goldwell with another educator. Her name's Odette Silva at the Academy in New York City a few years ago. And her and I were hitting it off. We're out having dinner after doing our class, because it's a 4-day class. And we're chatting about all the things we do, getting to know each other. She's a super passionate, amazing stylist and educator as well. And I said, so what are you working on? What's your big passion? And she's like, Fashion Week. I'm like, Fashion Week? What do you mean? And then she tells me she runs a team to do hair for Fashion Week for the Global Fashion Collective Runway. And she looks at me very seriously. She goes, well, you always seem like you're up for something new. Would you be interested in joining? I'm like, what do I got to do? And then my eyes just went wide. And as I leaned in to hear that I needed to take a course because you have to learn the techniques. Right. Then I needed to audition. And then she decided if it's right for the team or not. So I can't tell you the last time I had to audition for something. Usually people call me and say, hey, you want to do this? You want to do that or whatever. I make my connections with people, and then I like to work with their environment. And so putting myself out there to have to take a class, do an audition, get the nerves, do the things, and then I got offered to join the team. So now I do, my goal is to do all the fashion weeks there are to do. Right now I've had the opportunity to do London, UK, New York, and this year I'm going to be doing the Vancouver Fashion Week in the fall.
Wonderful.
So New York is always on the agenda, but the goals are getting bigger. And I really hope I can get into the Tokyo 2026 Spring Fashion Week and next year.
Oh,
so
incredible.
We're just going to kind of keep doing all the things wherever Odette needs us to be is where we want to be.
That's us in my pocket. Now it's something that I consider doing my life. When I found out about what her team was, she did, I thought, oh, that would be so fascinating. Had too many things, too many irons in the fire and projects going on at the same time. But that's something that I want to just keep bookmarked. What a fun experience and journey.
It really is.
What would you tell people, like, how did Fashion Week stack up to what you expected? Or what do you think would surprise people about working something like Fashion Week?
A lot of people think you have to have, it's big and it's avant-garde and it's like crazy hair, but it's actually not. A lot of times the designers want something very simple and very specific. And what I learned from Fashion Week is you got to learn to work fast, you got to learn to work clean, and we have to listen to instructions. And as an educator, it's challenging for me to take that education hat off, to be standing beside 24 other amazing stylists where we're all just doing our thing, and you have to learn to help. You have to jump in without being taking over. You have to learn to be understanding of when someone needs you to hold this piece so they can get into that piece. And you have a very small space to work in. It's craziness. Sometimes there's hundreds of people working in the same room, accomplishing some of the same goals. You've got makeup, a huge makeup team that you're working with, so you have to time all that out. You have to listen to your lead. Odette is an amazing lead. She always has our backs. She's always organized, and she's always gives you the support. She really does give you the support to make you feel like you know what you're doing. And I think that is key to a good lead. But she also deals with all the designers. She has a lot of hats herself, so sometimes there's a lot of hurry up and wait. You got to work really fast for a couple hours. There's nothing to do. So then you go and try and find someone else to help or do something with. Sometimes you need the break. Other times someone else needs 3 hands. You're done your work, you go help.
Wow.
So it's chaos. It's also super creative chaos. And the learning from it is amazing. And it makes you wear a different hat as a stylist. So that's pretty cool too. And then you get sometimes to know the designers. I had a really great connection with one designer last year. And it's really great to hear their journeys and then to see your work. When you get a chance to actually see it walk down the runway, the first time I bawled.
Oh, I love that.
I can't believe I just did that. And the other friends around there, it's like the first time you do this, it's pretty incredible. Never forget that feeling.
Oh my goodness, I hope you have a photo that you can text me and share. My team was right there and I'm like crying, and then they're like, this is how we all feel. This is why we love what we do. This is why we do it. It sounds electrifying. And it sounds really, it sounds like such a shift from what our day-to-day is going to be in the salon life. How do those experiences working at the fashion weeks in North America influence and in the UK influence how you show up in the salon day to day? Because clearly it's a very different setting and look, but what did that help you do in translating back into the salon world?
It actually made it a little tighter and a little cleaner.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty cool. The clients love to hear my stories of my journeys and what I'm doing. And then I come back to, I'm from Brantford, Ontario, Canada. We're a small town here. And so I feel like when I go travel, the world gets a lot bigger. And then I'm able to humble myself back down into my everyday again with this little bit more spark of excitement, what I do every day.
I love that.
And I think
that's really fun.
that spark, I want to keep doing these things because I love to go and travel. I love to learn and grow, but I love to come back to the salon. I love to come back and see how that changes things just a little bit, inspires my team at the salon. So they're very aware of what I do, and they're like, oh, how if she goes again? Okay. And then I come home and I tell them the stories and they get recharged. So I love to give that kind of spark energy away.
That actually sounds really fun. You know, when you mentioned you're from Brantford, it's a small town in Ontario, but what you're doing when you go out and get this different perspective, different worldview, you see different things. You might be doing something on the runway that you'll never actually execute in salon, but it's making you work cleaner. And beyond that, just the energy of exposing yourself to a broader form of art and participating on that kind of more global stage. Sounds like it's really had a positive impact on your team as well as your own work. It's beautiful.
Yes, thank you, Heather. And as you said earlier, like maybe that's something you want to do. I'm a sharer. That's what I do. I like to grow and share when other people, I can add positivity or some experience of some joy to somebody else. It's to see what's positive out there. Maybe someone else wants to do it. It's like, I didn't even know. I think I was one of the first Canadians ever to jump on Odette's team. And then now other educators have reached out and said, hey, can I do this? I'm like, yes, reach out, take the class, learn the skills, go do the thing. And I worked with a couple of other Canadians, and it was wonderful to see the broadening horizons of what as stylists we can do. There's other things that we can do. And I think that really gives us motivation and inspiration back for our everyday work.
Beautiful. Tell me about your team. So you own the Hair Boutique in Brantford, Ontario. Tell us when you started that salon and how that process has been for you. Tell me about your team, how many people you lead, and maybe describe a little bit about what you think makes a great leader and what's given you success at the Hair Boutique.
I'm really fortunate. I have an amazing team. So we've been going on our 8th year here in Brantford. So I own a nice little building, and I built every square inch of it I can to accommodate the business as it's grown over the years. Now we have a team of 8, and we have an assistant as well. What's really cool is I have a little cousin coming along from hair school. She's going to be joining our team. I know, following in the family footsteps. And she's got a little bit of a natural she's got a natural gift for touching hair. Her hands just seem to know what to do. Before she decided to go to hair school, she came and worked with me in the salon a little bit. And so she's going to be joining our team, and then we'll have a team of 9. Our team started off with 3.
Wow.
And through the pandemic, we actually grew. We actually found some stylists wanted to join our team. And so we accommodated space for that, like-mindedness. And now we have a team of 8. We have some people that have come from other salons. We have some people that I've just mentored along the way. My apprentice that I have right now that'll be getting her license by the end of the year, I was her stylist since she was 7 years old.
Oh, I love it.
Then her mom is my client, and she wanted to get into the salon environment after she went to university. She's always had a love for doing hair, and I started her off on the desk, and she very quickly realized that she wanted to be a stylist. And so that's now been 3 years, almost 4 years, and she'll be licensed this year. And the amount of time she's at the salon, she's almost fully booked as an apprentice because she had the drive and the want to do that. And she's done all the things. And so, again, I'd like to try and mentor my team. I'm always trying to figure out, what do they need? How can I help? Because I'm one of those people, when everyone's happy, I'm happy. When I could feel someone struggling, I want to make sure that they're where they need to be. I have tools I want to help them grow with. Want to provide some inspiration to what they can do. And I also want to make sure I create a comfortable salon environment for them to feel they can grow. Because I'm not into micromanaging. I'm into supporting, and they also have to show up and do some of the work too. Because then when I feel like they're putting the work in, I feel I can give them more. So I do have a wonderful team. I'm really grateful every day.
I bet they're grateful too. By what you're describing, it sounds so supportive. I think where you live is a little too cold for me. But if I ever find myself meandering that part of the country, I feel like I'll be salon and asking if you have room for 10 people. I don't know. You're going to outgrow your space before too long.
Someone just mentioned I needed to build another floor above the roof.
Yeah. Just keep the building. Exactly. I'm curious too. What you've mentioned a few things regarding culture and how you lead. What else do you think makes a salon culture thrive, or what things have you put into practice that you've seen the biggest improvements or benefits from as a leader?
I think it's instilling in your team, and also believing this myself, that we're stronger together, and that what you do to support your team amplifies the culture that we want. the clients can feel it. When they see you helping, when they see you involved, when they see you supporting, when they see you helping another team member, clients really love that feeling. When a client comes in for the first time, and then I'll be still at the desk or I'll be helping with someone and they look at me and they're like, it's got a really great vibe in here. I mean, I get goosebumps and my happiness just resonates. That people feel that when they walk in, because you can feel the vibe of someplace when you walk in.
Right.
And we always make sure we have at least a couple people consulting on a new client. We make sure that everyone greets the client, even if it's someone else's client. And when someone comes in to buy a product, we help them. It's not just, oh, that's your client. We want to make sure everyone receives the right service and creating a really welcoming. So we're stronger together, that making sure everyone feels like they're supported and no one's our own for anything. We always have tools. I always lead with the mentality, you get it right or you learn.
Okay.
There's no wrong, as long as there's value from the lesson. And I make sure my team know that. Yeah, we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to have opportunities to learn. That's just opportunities. It's not that we got it wrong. It's either you get it right or you learn. That's it.
Perfect. Sounds incredibly collaborative. And what you described, I love that. You either get it right or you learn. Not that you got it wrong. That's just opportunities. I love the vantage point of, rather than looking at it as a failure or mistake, it's an opportunity. And that's where growth happens. Sounds like you're really great at dialing that in and supporting your team and feeling that. You know, you mentioned Fashion Week, and I know that you travel with Goldwell probably way too many weekends out of the year. You and I likely keep a similar schedule as I'm reporting live from a hotel room here. Beyond traveling and coming back with that energy that you're infusing in your vibe, what do you do day to day to help keep your team inspired? What kind of things you've mentioned mentoring and things like that. How does that look practically speaking? Are you holding classes regularly or are you doing coaching sessions? How are you making sure you understand what they need and delivering in that inspiration?
I simply just ask them. I check in with everybody at least once a week. How are you doing? Anything I can help you with?
Nice. Literally
just letting them know that I'm open. Like we had a client that came in last week and curly hair always seems to be a challenge. People get really nervous about cutting curly hair, and I always feel like people get really nervous about shaping curls. The client that came in, she said, I need to find a new stylist. My stylist is now retired, and she had this gorgeous, gorgeous head of curly hair. And I was just like in awe of how beautiful it was. And she's like, the shape isn't right. I've tried a couple of salons. I just need to find someone who knows how to cut curly hair. I said, would you be open to going with a stylist and allowing me to coach while they're getting their hair done? So that and a couple of people probably want to jump in on, are you comfortable with that? And she's like, oh yeah, that'd be great. The more the merrier. And so yesterday, this client came in and I worked with my stylist, and she's a great stylist. She's a senior stylist. But I said, do you mind if I work with you on this? Because I think it'd be really great for the client to know that we care so much, and also to show you anything that you might not know about the hair. And then also our apprentice jumped in on it. So there's 3 of us working on it. And then so I said, we talked about a consult, we discussed the shape. She did the shape. I came back, checked it. I did a couple of tweakings. There was a good learning from it. And the client felt so well taken care of. And she's like, I'm rebooking in 8 weeks for reshaping. I've never felt like everybody was so helpful to help, like just that feeling of the client knowing that we care to get it right first time. And we also care to train our team so they can learn from it.
Powerful. I especially like that now she knows she's got a few people she can trust in your space. So should one person be out of town on vacation or not fit her schedule, now you've got multiple people. Not only did you create a nurturing environment that took care of that guest fully, but you also turned that into an education experience. And that's a perfect example or answer to what I was wondering on how that really looks day to day in and beyond the platitude of mentoring and inspiring, but you're really taking that onto a granular level, giving that one-on-one. That's cool. I really like that example. What is, I would like to kind of looking at 2025, you know, we're halfway through the year now. What is something that you're excited to bring forth, or maybe any kind of exciting projects you have underway? Tell me if you have any special projects or anything like that that you've taken away in the education you've taken, and anything you're working on or developing as a result.
Well, I'm developing a new is this the new business idea?
Tell me more.
Yes, I'm always, can we do better? Can we make it better? About everything. If I'm not happy with something, I don't love that. It's like, how can I improve that with everything in my life?
I know you and I spoke, I think it was after our first time meeting on the creative experience. You talked about a program you took about how to expand yourself as a professional as beyond just being a stylist. Especially as we age, maybe our ability to accommodate as many guests begins to decrease, and we're young, you're young. This is an industry that is hard on our body, and you're talking about about different ways to continue in this career that you love while being sustainable.
Line you and I have talked about. There's got to be a better way. It's got to be a better way. Necessity is the mother of invention. And so when you find a necessity, when you find something that you can make better, I get very fixated on how can I make this the best it can be. Not just my work, but the tools that we have. So I have like 6 different types of foils that I use. I'm sure everyone here has different types of foils, and I find frustrations with all of them. Not one foil fits my need, depending on what I'm doing. And it doesn't, but I would really love to find a product that I love and that I love using and that suits the environment and the situation that I'm working on. And so I'm like, well, why don't I just make my own? How hard can this be? Famous last words.
How hard was it? Tell us.
Well, this was about 3 years ago. I started thinking about it, started rolling around my head for quite some time about like, what do you do? Do I really want to do this? How hard is, okay, when do I have time? Let's think, let's keep the channel into, okay, let's revisit this when we have time. And then it just kept nagging at me this, I want to do this. And I just want to make foils for myself. So I started looking at manufacturers. I started looking at what can be done. And then other people, as I started talking about this, other people are like, well, I'd like to make some foils when I'd like some of your foils. You want some of my foils? They're just like, yeah, when you put an order in, can you order some for me? Oh, okay. And then I'm like, well, they should be fun. They should be like me. If I'm going to make my own foils, I'm going to make them the way I want. So then I started looking at textures. I started looking at what works, started doing sampling, started creating a brand. I have a friend that's a designer, and I've for the last year to design the box. How can I make this better? What are the things that drive us crazy about the products that we use?
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are not made by hairdressers. They're not made by stylists. They're not made by colorists. They're made by manufacturers that make a product. But I always find I could just do, if it was just a little bit like this, or it's just a little bit more like that, if it was just a little longer, or if it didn't rip when I pulled them all out of the box, like things would be, and so I'm like, okay, I'm making this. Then I took all the things that frustrate me or things I thought I could improve, and I started working with a manufacturer to make samples, and I found just literally came a few weeks ago the prototype box, and I started working with it to make sure I got it right and what I want, because it's got to be right. It's got to be just about perfect. I have to make an adjustment. I'm waiting for a new sample box to come, and when that box arrives, I am ready to place orders. So
what is the name of your product? We'll make sure we put it in the show notes.
It's called Beautifoils.
It's so dang cute, just like Tammie. Also purple. It's purple box.
It has the purple.
I love it. It's perfectly you. It's just fun. There's a little cheeky surprise about it. A couple of different things like that are really, and I think tuning in for. So it'll be really fun for the greater public to get their hands on the concept and what you've created. And I just think there's something to be said about a person who likes to iterate, likes to look at a way of improving and fine-tuning things. And everything that was happening before was working fine. We were figuring out how to get the job done, but this nagging thought that this could be different, this could be slightly better. And you didn't just think that and then roll your eyes and keep going with the frustration. You sought for a way to innovate, and you pushed through and pushed through and pushed through. And you've been working on this concept for nearly 2 years, which is really fun. And it's been an honor to just get a sneak peek toward the tail end of what you've been accomplishing. Tammie sent me her unboxing video. I think I might have cried a little bit. Tammie did.
Both, Heather.
Tammie did when she saw her look walk on the runway as she collaborated with the designer and the artist. I saw that and I just thought, oh my goodness, like, look at our little girl all grown up. I was so pleased that you would share that journey with me. And it's so fun for me personally, as an innovator, as a disruptor, as an artist, as someone who has a similar kind of passion for how can we make this a little bit better? What can we do different? I've loved collaborating with and getting to know, connect with beautiful, like-minded people like yourself. It's so rewarding. And I feel like I am so enriched and blessed by having these kind of associations and friendships in the industry. Really, it's such an honor, and I'm so proud of you and so excited for you that you did this.
Oh, Heather, thank you so much. I honestly have to say as well, about a year ago when Heather and I first met, I think it was about a year ago. Was it about a year ago?
We've been together for 45 years, Tammie.
Yeah. It feels like it. It was one of the incident things that I also don't think I could have done all of this work and do the things I love to do and run my salon and do the client and build a new company and educate and do and have a life without the company that you started, which is Spark, virtual assistant for hair salons. With all that extra help, it allowed me to have the mentality, space, the brains to be able to do these things. Because if I didn't have that assistant helping me with tasks and the things that I just didn't have maybe some knowledge about, right, because I didn't go to school for business. We've learned as we grew. We've taken courses and classes and collaborated, but there's certain skills that I can source out. I know that I need the for that, but I don't have to have the skill to learn how to do it. I just have to get the information to me. And when I got a new phone system, your Spark helped me set that up. When I got new computers, they helped me set that up. They've helped me with booking travel. Like, man, the list one of the help that I've gotten. Grateful for that.
It makes me so excited.
I'm glad I took the leap into trusting someone to help me, assist me. So
well, it's very hard to do, especially as a specific person and as a person who really has like a lot of our clients at Spark will say, well, I'm kind of a control freak. And I really like, just like you said, let's not look at it as a failure, but an opportunity.
Yeah.
I like to think maybe you're not a control freak. Maybe you're just very specific and you have a really clear vision. And I think that that's so important. And that's what someone be a high achiever. But partnering that with the ability to delegate and collaborate with a team to help support you is what makes skyrocket. I'm just really honored that you've trusted us in that journey, but especially this is what I love and this is why I do it. I started the business on accident, as you know, because I knew it opened up for me in the bandwidth and the space to create more. So I get so excited when I see my friends in the industry being able to accomplish something that they've been stalled on or wanting to do or never knew they could do. Because will you share with our listeners what you are most proud of about your career or in the industry?
I'm so thrilled to be able to share knowledge with people. My whole thing is, like, I'm not a technical cutter, not a technical, tidy stylist. I mean, we do the job, but we need to do the way we need to do it. But I think that it's really important to give yourself room to grow. I think it's really important to be able to create an environment to show people things aren't that hard. We do the hard way until we figure out an easier way to do it. And learning things doesn't have to be hard. Learning a new haircut, I can teach you how to do a new haircut in 20 minutes. Doesn't have to be super technical. And actually just learning how to do things faster and easier and showing other people how to do things faster, easier, better. That's the goal. You don't have an hour and a half to learn how to do a haircut. They may have to learn in an hour and a half, but they need to be able to apply it quickly. If you make things complicated, people are going to be lost. And if they don't go back and learn, if they don't apply what they learned within 2 days of learning something, the fear sets in and then the doubt sets in and they can't apply it because then they start to forget.
They just go back to whatever they were doing.
Yeah, we've got to be able to give ourselves that room to grow. But we also, I feel it's really important to give knowledge that's applicable in classes. Because like I did everything the hard way until I learned how to do it easier. We're always going to do things complicated until we do easier. And as we were talking about, like as a business owner and as an educator and someone who travels a lot, you can't grow if you don't learn to let go. And if you aren't letting some tasks be delegated out to other people and have to trust that, we cannot do it all. We absolutely can't. And if you think that you have to be able to let certain tasks be delegated out to people who can do them for you, have to ask for help, which is really hard to do as a very independent person and as a person who owns a salon, it's really challenging to accept the help or ask for help because there's other people out there who want to help you. But if you don't allow them to come and help or just reference people, the other stylists or other salon owners, we have to find our resources and really like hone in on that and let that fear go.
I mean, I think you're like what I'm hearing, like the things you're most proud of is just how you've been able to make the hard easy, how to let go of fear, delegate, and then really learn how to give that information on a grand scale to other people, which I think is a really big linchpin. That's very hard. There are so many people who are talented and good at what they do. They don't know how to translate that to somebody else. And so you have this master skill set of learning and always being applied learner and then moving that into how to share with others, which is a beautiful gift that you give to make our industry such a better place and that I know I benefit from as well just by associating with you and working with you. And my last question before we wrap, I would love to know, well, I have two because this is how I do. My last question always be the one that helps me the most, which is just what I want to know. And that's the question I'll have you answer after this one. First, I want to know what is something about you that you think would surprise other people? What is something that would kind of take people by surprise? I know there's that surprised me about you when we found out that we had in common, but what's something that you'd like to share with our listeners?
It took me 23 years to be comfortable standing in front of people talking.
Oh my gosh, and you kept doing it you did it scared.
Yep.
You showed up and did it scared.
Every single time.
Totally surprises me actually. I'm shocked.
And he got me more comfortable being on stage is having a supportive team that always feels like got your back. Like I worked on that the creative experience show team. And because I had to do it so many times in a row, it didn't get lost. The learning carried on. And working with these wonderful people up on stage, I always feel like I got my back.
Cool.
I've got their back. We're out there to give a show and have fun with it. And I turned that nervous into fun because it's been a lifelong struggle with that.
I would have guessed that. Obviously I know you at the tail end of this, the 23 years, you probably just barely the last couple weeks got comfortable, but I would have never guessed. I think that's really powerful too. Again, showing up and doing it anyway and doing it scared and saying yes. Awesome. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that our girl really likes to find herself at a good festival or rave you a year or twice a year. You're telling me this is just like the way you go unplug and decompress and you move.
I love to dance. I absolutely love being outside. I love the music. I love the environment of people having a lovely time. I love progressive house Music, yes, I love to get together with friends and go to a music festival. I'm a huge music person. My boyfriend's also a huge music person. I grew up, my dad was a DJ.
Yeah.
So I grew up with music and DJing. I used to go help him set up for the weddings, and I used to go help him set up for the dances. So this has been my whole life. I've been involved in music and setting up and going to and hearing the sound and being in a big environment with music. So it's been my whole life.
It tracks, but it still surprised me, and I loved it. I was like, ooh, that's fun. But definitely with how fun Tammie is, and her energy is so infectious, I think that it's not a surprise, but it was just kind of a fun surprise for me to know. And then my last question is, because I always like to know what the smart people who I find interesting are doing to read, learn, and grow. So what is a book that you've read recently that has had a big impact on you, or that you think other listeners would benefit from reading?
Yes, actually, I just finished Joe Dispenza's The Breaking the Habit.
I've heard about that one a few times. Okay,
Yeah.
You loved it?
Yeah, he's got a shift understanding of quantum physics. I think it's a fascinating topic, and yeah, that's the latest just finished reading.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your energy, your passion, and your time with all of us today. If people want to find you, Beautifoils, your new product, or learn more about you or connect with you, tell us where we can find you.
You can connect with my Instagram. I'm Tammie Axworthy Hair, and very soon the Beautifoils will be up and running. So I will have links in my Instagram and on the website for that as well.
All right, and we'll include that here and update the show notes when that is live also. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for being such an amazing person.
Thank
It's just been such a pleasure. Thank you so much.